Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to the fastest American muscle cars of 1969 and what they cost back then and what they cost now. Now, I'm interested in both elements of this video, but the one, to be honest, that I'm more interested in is the cost, because I reacted to last week a video of the best muscle cars of all time, American muscle cars, and I was in love. These cars, man, honestly, the aesthetic, because it's just so unlike anything you really see in Europe. The European aesthetic for a sports car is, sleek, low profile, not extremely wide, but not as wide as the American muscle cars. It's more about, the sleekness and the downforce, whereas these muscle cars, it's just, they're big, they're muscular, they're loud, the engine noise is just, that deep grumbling V8 sound. I just love that. But how much do these things cost? Like, I thought that they would be in the range of around 40 to 60K for a mint condition one. I was wildly wrong with my estimate. So this video is going to fill in some knowledge gaps for me. Let's do it.
The first muscle car era came and went in less than 10 years from 1964 to 1971. It was a time of hippies, rock and roll, and the space race.
Yeah.
Muscle cars from that period were beautifully styled, relatively low cost, and had gobs of big torque power for that push you into the back of your seat acceleration sensation. In this video, we focus on the year 1969 and list 10 of the quickest and sickest factory muscle cars that you could buy at the time.
The quickest and sickest. I like that.
What they cost back then, and how much they're worth now.
The Mustang. Oh, look at that.
At number 10 is the Mustang Mach 1 with the 428 Super Cobra Jet engine. In 1969, a wide range of 11 engine choices were on tap for the Mustang, from a 120 horsepower inline 6
wow,
all the way up to the mighty 429 cubic inch big block behemoth.
Surprised that it started as low as 120 horsepower. That's like, comparable to like a Ford Fiesta. It's like a really quite a small car.
The Super Cobra Jet in the Mach 1 went beyond the plain old Cobra Jet spec'd 335 horsepower 428 and included an engine oil cooler, beefier crankshaft and connecting rods, along with the drag pack specific 3.9 or 4.3 to 1 differential gear ratios. How quick could it whisk you down the drag strip?
Look at that shot.
It was good for a 13.69 second quarter mile pass at 103.4 miles per hour right from the factory. In 1969, this Mach 1 would have set you back about $4,300.
Man, $4,300. I know that salaries and stuff weren't as high as they are now, obviously, but that still sounds really cheap. I wonder what the average salary was back in 1969. Like, what is $4,300 in today's money?
And today would require about $170,000 to put one in your hands.
170? Jesus. That's more than I thought. Oh my God. Still, it's a gorgeous car. 170 grand. Wow, look at that.
In 1969, going commando meant something a little different than what it means today. Back then, it meant that a standard 440 cubic inch V8 with a single 4-barrel carburetor.
This just looks pristine, man. Looks like it's not been driven at all. It's just, you can't see any dirt in here.
Lurked beneath the hood of your 69 Plymouth GTX. This GTX put out 375 horsepower and earned the adjective of super on its name sticker. The two-door hardtop or convertible GTX was the more upscale version of the Belvedere B-body over that of the pillared Plymouth Roadrunner Coupe. It was quick too, earning the position of number 9 on our list. The quarter mile would flash by in 13.56 seconds, at which point you'd be traveling at 104.9 miles per hour. When new, this car costs around $3,719.69.
Cheaper than the GT.
Right now, you could scoop one up for about $90,000.
I love how I'm nodding like, you know, man, that's cheap. That's a good deal. When it's still like really expensive, but still very pretty car, man. If money was no object, I'd probably buy all these cars. The Dodge. I love the slight bump.
Another
for the
Chrysler
engine
B-body on our list at
vent.
number 8 is the 1969.5 Dodge Super B. It's a 1969.5 because Dodge debuted this variant in the middle of the model year as the A12 M code option. The M code got you the 440 cubic inch V8 with race-strengthened internal components and a bump in horsepower to 390 from the 375 ponies of the standard 440. Its coup de grace was the trick intake manifold and carburetor setup. Consisting of 3 two-barrel Holley units, hence the term six-pack, it was engineered with a unique linkage system designed to cruise around during restrained acceleration using just the center 350 CFM carburetor for fuel-air mixing duties. But when the go pedal was mashed, all 3 of the carburetors became activated with a total of 1,350 cubic feet per minute of
Are most muscle cars rear-wheel drive? It looks that way. Like this one here, it clearly is because it kicks off from the back.
pedal was mashed. All 3 of the carburetors became activated with a total of 1,350 cubic feet per minute of the fuel-air mixture dumped into the engine. The quarter mile arrived in
The way he just cranked that down into second gear. It might have been fourth, actually.
13.56 seconds at a velocity of 105.8 miles per hour. $3,800 out the door was what it would cost in 1969. Today, it goes for around $110,000.
The paint job on this one is stunning, though, honestly. That turquoise blue with the red detailing on the tires. I like it a lot.
What it would cost in 1960, $110,000.
Chevrolet Corvette. Oh, look at this. I like this one.
Of course,
This might be my favorite so far, actually.
legendary Corvette had to show up on our list. Some would argue that this isn't a muscle car, but it is considered an icon and part of the Supersport team of vehicles in Chevrolet's 1969 lineup.
Yeah, he's right. It doesn't really look like your typical muscle car. It doesn't have the same sort of wide body, boxy front nose look.
This is the Corvette Stingray L88, a race spec only version of the Vette that featured a 427 cubic inch engine with aluminum cylinder heads and a special air induction system that output a factory rated 430 horsepower, but in actuality generated around 560 horsepower.
Woo! That's a lot of horses. That's a lot of horses, man. That's like Ferrari 458 territory. Yeah, maybe even, yeah. Like the, I'm thinking of the Lamborghini Gallardo or the Aventador. It's about that number.
The ultra-high compression L88 required high-octane fuel, or engine damage could result if a lower-rated fuel was used. It could shred the quarter mile in 13.5 seconds at 111.1 miles per hour. Not exactly cheap when new.
I wish that he spoke about the top speed of these cars as well. I would imagine the top speed of this thing's got to be about 160, 170 miles an hour, something around there.
In 1969, it would ding your bank account by about $5,700 back
This
then.
is going to be pricey, isn't it?
These are super rare and would require $425,000 to put one in your hands today.
Almost $500,000. Woo!
Oh yeah, don't forget to factor into your fun budget the $10 per gallon racing fuel that it gulps down, should you wish to take it for a spin.
$10 a gallon. Here we go, back to the classic aesthetic.
The next one on our list at number 6 was a NASCAR-inspired Chrysler B-body, the 1969 Dodge Charger.
Lovely interior, the black leather with the wood trim here on the steering wheel. This is really nice.
500 with the 426 Hemi, of which only 67 were built, making it super rare. Created as a homologation requirement vehicle, It differed from the Charger RT with its flush-mounted rear backlight and a front grille and headlights from a 1968 Dodge Coronet. In doing so, it achieved aerodynamic superiority over the standard Charger body and made it more competitive on the high-speed oval tracks like Daytona and Talladega. Besides being fast on the left-turn-only ovals, it was quick on the drag strip too, requiring only 13.48 seconds to burn down the quarter mile at 109 miles per hour. If you were lucky enough to pick one up when it was new, it would cost you $4,300 in 1969. You can still get one today, but it will leave a hole in your wallet where $220,000 used to reside.
Okay, I was kind of because the number produced was so low, I was expecting quite a bigger number than that, but it's still a lot of money, man. I'm just thinking in my mind, for this money, you could buy a McLaren 720S and still have enough left to probably get like a 2010 Porsche Boxster or Carrera. Like it's insane how much money these cars are worth. But I guess because they're from such a far back, so and in mint condition too, they're so hard to find. It does make sense. Beautiful car.
Boss. The Mustang designation that meant there was something special under the hood and earns a number 5 spot on our list. There was the Boss 302, the Boss 351, and the king of them all, the Boss 429. The Boss 429 engine was created to go racing in NASCAR to compete against the Chrysler Hemi engines that ruled in the late 1960s.
I see.
To qualify it for racing, Ford had to build at least 500 copies of the engine and sell them to the public. To do that, Ford chose to wedge it into its Mustang sports roof body with extensive engine bay modifications required along the way. It was also front-heavy due to the big block lump occupying its engine room, but could still conquer the quarter mile in 13.3 seconds at 107 miles per hour. Originally costing around $5,000 when new, these are one of the rarest and most expensive Mustang types on the market today, and at auction go for about $450,000 and climbing each year.
Goodness me. That's actually mad. You know, a Ford car. Like, I guess it's the rarity of it, you know, because you can buy like, this is being stupid, but you can buy like a Ford Fiesta for like a couple grand. It's just like the spectrum is so wide, even though they're all under the same brand. Because like there's no Ferrari or Lambo that you could buy for $2 grand. But yeah, it's the rarity. I love that paint job.
Combine the
all black
Plymouth
one.
Roadrunner with the fabled 426 Hemi with the air grabber hood, and you've got yourself a legendary late 1960s road warrior.
Sick.
Named Car of the Year in 1969, this ride was fast, loud, and an imposing road intimidator on the street and at the drag strip, and looks particularly menacing in black.
It really does. It looks like Blade's car, like the Daywalker.
An early example of cross-brand marketing between Warner Brothers and Plymouth, the Hemi Roadrunner is a rare bird with only 787 produced with this engine. True to its namesake, the Roadrunner sprinted through the quarter mile at 13.32 seconds at 107.65 miles per hour. The Hemi Roadrunner would have cost about $4,500 in 1969 when new.
Love that interior, man. Just, I love it. The black and the wood. I've said it already because there was another car, but this looks like a deeper wood, like mahogany or something.
With the Hemi engine option alone contributing a hefty $813 to the total. They come up at auction every so often, with about $170,000 needed to park one in your garage.
I mean, relative to the other prices, that's a good deal, I think. CAMARO.
At number 3, the 1969 CAMARO Copo ZL1 occupies an esteemed presence on our list. There were 1,069 Copos produced in total, with the majority of these having the solid lifter L72 version of the 427. However, 69 of the Copos had the very special and rare ZL1 engine option. This was the all-aluminum version of the 427, designed specifically for drag racing in the superstock classes and rated at 430 horsepower. It could put lots of other muscle cars to shame back in the day by devouring the quarter mile in 13.16
The way that thing just kicked up.
seconds at 110 miles per hour. When new, the ZL1 engine choice for the Camaro would set you back $4,000 alone as part of the $7,300 total price for the car.
Wow.
Nowadays, these celebrated muscle brutes go for around $800,000.
Holy shit. Whoa. 800 grand. Woo! Oh my God, look at that.
Another Camaro on our list coming in at number 2 was the 69 Camaro SS with the L89 engine. If you wanted a lighter big block engine in your Camaro, this was the option to have for that year. The L89 started off as a 375 horsepower L78 396 cubic inch V8 and added a higher compression ratio and aluminum heads for a net horsepower gain of 0. But it weighed 50 pounds less than its L78 sibling.
Big difference.
It could definitely expedite one's trip down the quarter mile and cross the trap in 13 seconds at 108.6 miles per hour. Not many people ordered these in 1969, as it was hard to justify the extra $400 for the L89 engine with no bump whatsoever in rated horsepower.
Yeah, I can see that.
When new, the SS L89 costs around $3,800, with only 311 produced that year. It's another example of a rare beast that has been escalating in value over the years, where they're now going for around $220,000.
It's the price appreciation for these cars, just fantastic. If you could keep the car in mint condition, it's amazing. Like, because property back in the 60s, if you were to buy, could you buy a house in a well-developed city in, say, I don't know, Chicago or Texas for that price back then? Maybe. I guess you'd probably, like, my question is, would you get similar price appreciation in property versus some of these cars? Like the last car that's 800 grand that you could buy for 4 grand, that's probably, you can't probably beat that kind of appreciation in the property game, can you? Maybe, I don't know. Starting at 4 grand, I mean. I love this car, man. It's
At
so
number
sick.
1 is our
I think we've seen another variation of this car on this list, haven't we?
final Chrysler B-Body on the list. It's the 1969.5 Plymouth Roadrunner with the A12 drag racing option and the M-Code 440 cubic inch 6 BBL, or 6-barrel. This was the same package found on the Dodge Super Bee 446 pack at number 8 on our list.
Right.
Again, this was the 440 engine with the specially cast aluminum intake manifold with mounts for 3 2-barrel Holley carburetors that became fully activated under spirited acceleration inputs and was rated at 390 horsepower. The engine was outfitted with race-spec internal components to give it that extra oomph over that of the standard 440. It takes the number 1 spot here because it was the quickest of them all, with the quarter mile taking only 12.91 seconds at 111.8 miles per hour, straight from the factory. As with the Super Bee, it also cost around $3,800 when new. Pick one up at auction these days, and it will set you back about $150,000.
Phew! Oh my God, I was expecting this will cost you $1.5 billion.
That's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Really enjoyed that video. So cool seeing these cars, from, 69 till now. That's 53 years. It's amazing seeing, such nicely and well-preserved examples of these cars. It just goes to show, like, sometimes the old designs can still be the best designs. I love the look of these cars, just the width, it's hard to describe, it's hard to put it into words. The rear haunches as well, over the rear wheels, that haunch that makes the car look so muscular, you know, it adds a real sense of menace and presence to a car. You see that same haunches in quite a lot of modern supercars too. It's really, really attractive, and the sound too. Like for me, you guys know that I drive, or you might know that I drive a manual car. Like I love the driver involvement. I know some of you are going to say, oh, if you have to commute for 2-3 hours a day, you're not going to have fun going through all the gears. I get that, but there is something about, you know, just being involved in shifting the gears. It makes the driving experience so much better. And driving one of those muscle cars with all that power and the sound combined with the manual gear shift system would be amazing. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.